make a big noise playing in the street. Gonna be a big man someday. You got mud on your face, you big disgrace, kicking your can all over. You got blood on your face, a big disgrace, waving your banner all over the place. We will rock you. Sing it out. We will rock you. Buddy, you're an old man, poor man, pleading with your eyes, gonna make you zombie someday. You got mud on your face, big disgrace. Somebody better put your bag into your place. We will rock you. Sing it.
Is the center of our gravity. Home is not a privilege that is granted by Her Majesty. A home is our right, a place to raise our family. Home is where we go for tranquility and sanctity. Home is where we feel at peace and we can have some privacy, where I can voice my thoughts and nobody tries to silence me. Home is where commotion turns to settling dust. Home is where we raise our kids to be better than us. And home is more than just a house. Home is where there's unity. Home is where we gather. Home is our communities. Home is the connection that we share when we trust. Home is not about me. Home is about us. Home is the guiding light within that we feel drawn to. Home is the source of our creation we belong to. Let them try with their lies meant to pull us apart. We always find our way home cause we know it by heart.
All these long and lonely roads, they wind and bend, they find me friends, they lead me home. And I know no matter where I roam, I'm watching love from high above, I'm not alone.
Home is our cities, our states and our countries. Home is the earth below, the sky above me. Home is the truth we instinctively know, helping us to find home everywhere that we go. But there's many false prophets trying to lead us astray, who want to tell us what to do but not hear what we say. They ignore us while they play their game of righteous pretend, like we don't notice that their rules ain't applying to them. While our children have lost their future, made to cover up their faces, forced to get injections for attendance at their favorite places. Where does it end? When we take to the streets, the government won't call a hearing, they just call the police. And to the faceless stormtroopers, where is your humanity? Just following orders, there's no excuse for your insanity. It's time to cut the rod out at the source like a cavity. It's time to go home and realize that we're a family.
All these long and lonely roads, they wind and bend, they find me friends, they lead me home. And I know no matter where I roam, I'm watching love from high above, I'm not alone.
This country, is this the way you like to live? Constantly harassed to put a mask upon your wife and kids. Cops with riot packs who like to act as if no rights exist. Alive, but we're not really living. What kind of life is this? The world is full of risks, but we don't need protection, cause all of their solutions are much worse than the infection. If we want resolution, we need unity, not politics. Why should we trust somebody who's broken so many promises? But maybe this was meant to be and had to happen all along. The cycle's always spinning and it's darkest right before the dawn. It's funny, to the point of laughing out loud, cause what they said would never happen, well it's happening now. And so many are waking up. Welcome to the front lines. The ones who know behind the clouds will always be the sunshine. You and I see through the lies, no longer alone, and let the compass in our souls guide and carry us home.
All these long and lonely roads, they wind and bend, they find me friends, they lead me home. And I know no matter where I roam, I'm watching love from high above, I'm not alone. All these lonely roads,
Hello, everyone. How's it going? Yeah, should be quite interesting this evening. We had a very interesting day. We'll all have as a nation. Looks like Pierre is running for prime minister, which is interesting. It's always the good ones that don't want to run. So the fact they didn't want to run before and now he does is good. Um, yeah, so there's a lot of stuff that we've been trying to do. We're trying to create our own nation, and Canoe Nation is probably further ahead than any other group out there. And we've created our nation as a minimum of 250, but we need to get to 5,000 signatures. So what I ask is if you could please go to the Constitution. If you want to read it, read through it, please, absolutely. If you don't have time and you want to go back later, sign it, go back later and read through it. I always usually recommend people to read through it, but if you don't have time, I get that too, right? We get to 5,000 plus signatures. It shows that we have strength. It's so easy for the government just to say we don't exist if it was only a couple hundred people, right? I mean, look how many they tried to say there was a fringe minority with the whole truck drivers, yet there was thousands of them, right? And thousands, right? So now we just we're not going directly to the government. It'd be the registries. We got new tools coming and stuff like that to help, which is great. So yeah, and then there's also the fundraiser. So right now we've raised about $195. If you click on the second link, it says please donate. We take e-transfer. It's just easier for us to do e-transfer. The majority of all Canadians, if you want to do another method, we can always just chat me up. And then the main site's there as well on the chat deal, which is great. So essentially, the reason why we need to raise the capital is because we're creating our own currency. Now, why is this important? For a nation to be independent, it needs to have its own currency. So in the creation of the currency, we're also creating a trust. And to do this is going to cost us about around $20,000, we figure. $10,000 to create the currency, and then $10,000 for a lawyer to make it so that way it's all legal, because it's going to be a little while for us before we separate. And we want to make sure that we don't give the government an excuse to come after us, if that makes sense. So even despite the fact that in Bill C-15 Indigenous Act, under 23.1, it allows us to have our own economic system, we need to be prepared that it may take us years before big enough to be able to separate actually from Canada under international law. And we don't have to go out the same set deals off Canada. It's kind of interesting because the traditional province with the constitutions or the whatever, right, had a certain setup so you can only have one nation or one province leave possibly at a time, and all had to vote out. It's different if we're a territory and we're already on the way out. We're a nation that owns land, and even if we're just recognized as a territory at first, we can leave. We don't need the other province's permission to leave. We just need to declare independence and stuff like that. But again, it takes time to do that without actually getting your butts kicked. It's got to be done a certain way, and it's one step at a time, which is nice. But for now, we have a nation as First Nations, which is nice. So we have those borders and that boundaries, which is nice. And we have new laws that was put in by really good countries through the United Nations. Yes, there is good people in the UN, just like there's bad people. We just hear about the bad people, unfortunately, right? And a lot of people that hate the British regime went and put through this Bill C-15, although it might be called something else in the UN, and then they forced all First World Nations that had Indigenous, First Nations, Métis, stuff like that, to implement it and stuff like that. So we have a long ways to go still. But for all those people who are asking why we need signature for the Constitution, now there's really old laws that allow an organization by constitution or a nation by constitution. Now, we're the First Nations in over 400 years since the breakup of Turtle Island Constitution to actually create a constitution by signature, right? And it's very professional. I've heard a few other people go through it, which is nice. It covers everything and anything you could think of. It even makes it so that way government has no power. Each community can take personal votes on how different laws are to be made. It puts the power to the people and not the other way around, which is nice. So there's a lot of different things we are doing here today. But right now, if you can sign the Constitution and become a founding member, that's huge. So what does the founding member do? Well, technically, you signed the Constitution, you helped us, and we thank you very much for that. And then when there's like $100,000 waiting list to go up north, and all you have to do is put in the little comment section on the application part stating, hey, I'm a founding member. Can I, or I want to go north. And so they put you top of the line underneath the other founding members that are going. So yeah, should be quite interesting for sure. I love the fact that there's so many different things. We can reclaim our own heritage land back where we're going. They took it, long story short, they took it from First Nations. Then they abandoned it for 40 years, and we're just reclaiming land that rightfully belongs to First Nations, which is us, so which is nice. And then it also allows us to come up with our own medicine, which is pretty cool. So more natural medicine. We could have some oil meds, but we have to be careful with that for sure, because some of those cause more problems than it's worth. But anyways, yeah, I mean, the list goes on of how many different things. We can also have our own education system. What we were thinking of was doing grade 7 and up was mornings would be regular schooling, afternoons would be trades, and then evenings would be ranger training or cadets, depending on which one they prefer, right? And which one's full and what isn't, right? So that should be pretty cool. It allows the kids to keep busy, keep out of trouble, make new friends, and bond as a community, eh? And then you would also start nature training, I guess you could say, from grade 4 to 6. So we would have elders take the kids into the bush and teach them what's good, what's poison, what's safety, what's not, what can be used for medicine, all that kind of stuff. And the younger you start teaching them even how to track, how to, a lot of different things. How to fish is one of the, how to provide. A lot of men these days don't even know how to provide for their own families, let alone, it doesn't matter the nation. It doesn't matter the tribe. A lot of men don't know how to provide for their own household anymore. And a lot of women end up being the provider, and that's not right. Men are supposed to be the provider. However, if both want to provide, then so be it. It's no big deal, but a man should be providing for sure for his family. And I know it sounds kind of stereotypical, but oh well. I still only believe there's technically two genders, and then there's a gender switch. So I'm kind of one of those people where gender switch means you switch genders, and anyways, whatever. I'm not getting into that. We also are allowed to have our own media, so we'll probably have our own radio station as soon as we can get a tower set up. There should be enough junk up there we can make our own tower and get a few broadcasting equipment and blast some music, and while people are working for something to do, and keep news and community up to date with everything going on, which would be nice, as well as development. So if people come in and start trying to cut our trees down or start mining without our permission, we can actually shut them down. Not that we're against industry, however, the only resources that are available for extraction to go to third party would be mining, but it done in the right sense. No acid, only heat extraction, and a lot of the time we would want to be doing that ourselves, right? To rebuild, to build our nation up. There is a lot of other cleanups from old mines that need to be done, and stuff like that. Even though, so there's a lot of stuff to do. The thing I like the most too is that 7.2 allows it so that way no third party can steal our kids anymore. So no, in other words, no one can take our kids anymore, which would be nice because we right now we don't have a lot of that protection, and this is why when we put out there help save the children, help stop our children from the next residential school, help stop our kids from the next 60 scoop, help stop our kids from being taken for the next child welfare kidnapping scam, right? Because that's what it is. I mean, I don't care whether they have a badge or not. It's still a scheme. They're making an extra $100,000 per child that's First Nations or Indigenous. So that is really messed up. They actually put a higher bounty for that, saying that First Nations were special needs pretty much, and they need extra needs and extra help. No, what it did was put a bounty on for First Nations, Métis, and Inuit, and anyone else who's Indigenous, and it causes a huge problem with having more than the majority of the children in care to be First Nations. Now, don't get me wrong. I mean, yes, sometimes families need help, but do they need to be fully removed from the? I'm pretty sure grandma could take the kids or somewhere else, but they don't care. They just boom take the kids and payday, right? And they always target people that don't have supports either. So you could have no supports and done nothing wrong. They just take you because you're an easy target. So, anyways, there's a lot of stuff that is going on. We ask for your support, and we ask that you work with us. There's a lot of things that have been happening. I saw the rallies there today. It's nice to see people standing up. I get a kick out of people showing all the dancing and cheering while they played that Justin Trudeau's speech in the background, and yes, all this hatred and all this stuff where you're showing all this love, right? So yeah, lots of hate going on here. All the U.S. shows are talking about Canada, how they're like, yes, absolutely, all that hate, whatever you do, and then. And as a kid, we should definitely tell you guys to cover your ears because no kid wants to hear a truck horn blaring or blow the horn or anything like that when they had like a video of the kids pulling the horn. So, it's quite interesting to see a lot of what's going on there. And, it'd be nice to go out there. If we sell our company here right away, or would possibly have investors investing in Canoe Nation as well, we will see if maybe we can bring out some food supplies for something there. Maybe not quite Ottawa, but we could go to South Alberta one. It'd be closer, and maybe do some barbecues for the Regina one. Who knows? I love cooking. It'd be nice to roll my sleeves and maybe get some ribs going or something, eh? And bring some of my homemade barbecue sauce. That would, that'd be awesome. Just kind of like boil the ribs ahead of time, and then just all you have to do is grill them and get them going for about that'd be awesome, right? That'd be awesome. Get some baked potatoes, or just bring mashed, and heat them up, and because a lot of stuff we can do cooking here, and then just kind of, or rent a kitchen and kind of get staff and. Help volunteers and stuff, and then we'll just upload all the food and take it with us, heat it up there, and help the people out that are there. But yeah, if you haven't donated yet, we've raised about $200 almost to the fundraiser. Please, you can find it in the description as well as in the comments. Donate, e-transfer $20, 100, 200, whatever you can afford. That'd be greatly appreciated. The faster we get this up, the faster we move forward as a nation. Thank you very much. May the Creator be with you, and may God bless you.